Hello and welcome to the 2014 edition of Journey to the Throne. It's always a pleasure to have you join me as we get to know the 7 beauties vying for the Miss Dominica title. I'm joined by contestant number 6, Miss Francine Barron from Grand Bay. Francine, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome, my pleasure.
So, you're vying for the Miss Dominica title. Are you ready?
Well, I have been ready since 2012 actually. But I decided not to go up because I was working at a high school and it's really stressful and hectic and students deserve your time much as anything else. So I decided to go up when things calm down a little bit. That's in 2014. So I have been ready.
Okay, good. That's good to know. And that's great that you said that because most people tend to just wake up one morning and say,
yes,
I want to be Miss Dominica. And it doesn't work like that. You have to prepare for it.
Exactly.
So that's very good. Why did you decide to take part in this competition?
I usually say I decided to take part for 3 main reasons. The first being for myself, of course. This is one of the ways that you could help to build yourself and to market yourself as a young person. I mean, it is very competitive nowadays, especially for jobs. But if people know you, that's one step ahead. And also the price of a scholarship is very appealing to someone who wants to go back to school. And I would like to have my master's in education. Also, for my community, most times we see things happening in the community and we wait for others to make a change, but change usually begins with us. So I decided to make this my form of community service and represent Grand Bay in this year's Miss Dominica pageant. And lastly, I decided to do this for my family and my friends. We usually give advice to our friends and family members, and we don't put actions with our words. So I cannot tell them to reach for their highest achievements, and I do not do the same. So this is one avenue that I can prove to them that we all have the ability to do that.
I like that. So everybody benefits
right.
from this. Okay, good. So, but you're not new to the stage.
No.
You've taken part in pageants before. What was that experience like?
Mainly cultural activities such as the Tea Matador. I was the first Tea Matador in 2004 or 5, I can't remember. I also participated in the Cable and Wireless's Star Quest. I was the youngest participant. I made it to the semi-finals, which is something to be proud of. And I also won the title of Miss CHS War back in my final year at the Convent High School.
Okay, nice. What can Dominica expect from you on the night of the show?
Uniqueness. Usually girls, they come to see poise and talent. We are all talented. Had it not been so, we would not be chosen to participate. But you can expect something that is unique. Instead of singing, you can expect something that can move you, something you've never seen before on Dominica's stage.
You mentioned earlier on about being an educator.
Yes.
And why you took the time to join the pageant this year. Tell me, what's the most important thing about being an educator to you?
The most important thing is that students don't always listen, but they always look at what you do. I read once, do not be concerned that young people don't do as you say, but be concerned that they see what you do. So I'm making my life a part of my career, so my students can have someone to look up to.
That's lovely. And what do you enjoy most about being an educator?
It's not something where you're confined to an office. You're dealing with human beings, with opinions and thoughts, and it's really fun when you're associating with these students. They have so many ideas and it's really fascinating and they make you laugh so much. It's a lovely job and I'm very happy that I chose education as my career path.
Okay. Education is a top priority for the Prime Minister and the Labour Party administration. The Prime Minister believes that in order for a young person to be successful, the learning environment must be conducive to one's learning. Tell me, do you believe that?
I most definitely believe that. The late Nelson Mandela once said, education is the most powerful weapon we can use to change the world. And like him, I believe that the educated man has the ability to change the world. And we usually wonder what is an educated man or who is an educated man. I think Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said it best when he said intelligence plus character is the goal of true education. So it's not the person who can belch out a mathematical equation, but it's the person who understands that you have to be kind, you have to be humble, and you have to have integrity when you're an educated individual. So that is why I focus on education so much. It's the holistic education.
Very nice. Is there evidence of the Prime Minister's belief in and around your community of Grand Bay?
I believe so. One of the things he did is that he has this system, this bus system, where students who live very far, they will be picked up by a bus at a certain time to get to school. Usually, in the communities, we walk to school. But now it is becoming increasingly difficult, and students tend to take their own way. They don't go directly to the school. But with the bus system, you get to school on time, neat, not sweaty, in a way that is conducive to learning.
Okay, are you aware of any government initiatives or projects taking place in your community?
Yes. Well, there is the Yes We Care program, of course. It's an initiative by the government to take care of the elderly or the senior citizens in our communities who cannot do so themselves or who have no assistance. So there is the Yes We Care program in Grand Bay. We also have the new police station. Before, the system was that they would rent a house or a building, and that would be the police station. But we actually have a beautiful building for the police station right now. There is also the resurfacing of the Lally Road, and if anyone knows Grand Bay, they know that the Lally Road is the heart of Grand Bay. This is where the action takes place. So there's the resurfacing of that road.
Very nice. So recently was the opening of Carnival in Grand Bay. How did that play out with the resurfacing of the road?
We manage. Grand Bay is a community where we do with what we have, so we manage quite fine.
Okay, nice. What are your strengths?
My strength? Well, I sing very well. Well, I've been told, and I believe that I sing very well. And also, I'm self-motivating, and I think that is a strength in that I don't look to outward factors to motivate myself. Sometimes I have to say, well, you decided to do this, or you know what you want for your life, so you have to keep pushing. And I consider this self-motivation a blessing.
That's commendable. What are your weaknesses?
Sometimes, well, it has been said that I don't work well under pressure, but being in this pageant has greatly helped with the working under pressure. So I now know what to do when I'm being pressured and how to handle it. Should I vent or should I keep it inside? Should I listen to music? So it has been helping a lot. So it's not a weakness anymore. It's something that I have learned to manage.
Would you consider yourself a role model?
I have received a few messages on Facebook. Some students and also some young people I do not know said that I am their role model. And I was in awe. I never knew that I was somebody's role model. I just knew I was being myself. And it is said that your life might be the only example some people have, so you must live it well. And I'm really grateful and touched that some people have chose me to be their role model. They have chosen me to be their role model.
Who's your role model and why?
My role model is not a set person, but they are the women in my family. So I look at them collectively, and they are my role models because of the way they live their lives. Now, they thought they were only living their life and trying to do the best they could, but unconsciously they were teaching us values, key values that we would need. By us, I mean my cousins and my sisters. They were teaching us things that we need for everyday life, and I'm not even sure they were aware that they were doing that. So they have taught us the importance of education and how important it is to always keep God close and to do what is right, not to steal, do not lie, they do not pay. And they taught us that simply by living their own lives. And that is why they are my role models.
I'm sure they'll be very proud to hear
yes,
that.
They will.
How would you define beauty?
Beauty is not only the physical, but there is also inward beauty. And once there's a disconnect in the physical and inward beauty, you are not beautiful holistically. So you have to be genuine. You have to be kind, sympathetic, and these are qualities a beautiful person would have. So anytime there's a disconnect with your physical and your inward beauty, you are not really beautiful.
Very well said. It has been said that the Dominican public isn't a reading population. What are some of the ways we could encourage our young people to read?
I would like to say that we should make it mandatory that students must go to the library and write a book report. But as an educator, I know that this will not always achieve what we want. But I think that as adults, we need to make reading fun. We need to children look at what you do. And I've always seen my mother reading, so I used to pick up books and read myself simply because I saw her doing it. So we cannot compel them to do it, but we must do it ourselves, and then they will see, okay, maybe it is really fun. Maybe I should try it.
Right.
Children are inquisitive like that.
That's right. I agree. Grand Bay is usually referred to as the cultural capital of Dominica. There are other communities vying for that top spot. Say Paybush, for instance.
Okay.
How would you settle that argument and establish Grand Bay's position?
Granby has had the culture in our midst for quite a long time, and we never let it go. And that is why we are the cultural capital of Dominica. For the way we speak, our cuisine, nous tout capable patois, je never go nous capable Creole. So it is something that was in us and something that we cannot let go. That's why I believe that we were named the cultural capital of Dominica. Also, we have groups such as Stradibel, and we have Candace Music, right? The Chubby and the Midnight Groovers. We also had key icons as Matutu, who was Matutu's Park, named after, who was known for Bailey and all these cultural activities they would partake in. So that is why I believe it stayed, the name cultural capital stayed with Granby, because we never once created the environment for that to be detached from us. So we held on to it. So I think that the other communities vying should just give up and agree that Granby is the cultural capital.
Okay, so your bio says you live by the motto, the human mind can be a dangerous place. Tell me about that.
The human mind is one of the most powerful elements of our bodies. And I think that negative thinking is one of the ways that the human mind becomes extremely dangerous. For instance, self-loathing is one of the ways that it becomes dangerous. And when that happens, we find that, especially in young people, we find that there's lack of confidence, lack of productivity, which in turn affects our society. So that is what I mean by the human mind can be a dangerous place in terms of what we put in there. And negative thinking breeds negative outcomes.
Tell me about your own personal experience with that, though.
Growing up, I was very insecure. There was a time where I hated so many parts of my body, and it was really bringing me down, and I held back a lot. I knew I was talented, but I did not want to put myself in a position to be criticized and my flaws be exposed. And I tend to say that when I hit one of my body parts, I hated the most, so it was my leg, my legs. And then I used to say, they look like man's leg, and I was very young, and I never wore shorts for quite a long time. Until my auntie said to me one day, what if you were in an accident and you lost both your legs? What would you say? And then I realized I would want my legs back. The very same legs I was criticizing and I didn't want, I would want them back. So through that, I learned to appreciate everything that I have because it is mine. And if I did not have it, I wouldn't be me. So I decided to love myself and to think only positive thoughts and to get rid of the negative thoughts. And that changed me, and it changed my whole perception of everything.
I'm sure a lot of young girls can relate to that, Francine. Yes. What scares you?
I don't think that there's a specific thing which scares me. I used to be afraid of the dark, but I was very young and I got over that. But I try with the whole positive thinking, I try to look at everything as a new experience and something can be learned from that. So I'm not scared by anything per se, but I take everything as a challenge, as an opportunity to learn and to grow.
How has the support been for you while taking part in this pageant?
My support has been very great, not only from my family and friends, but from my community. And I would like to thank Granby for coming out and showing their support full force, 100%. There's none to compare. I always say that Granby represents. I would also like to thank my sponsors, Detroit Tires Inc. We are located at the Canefield Industrial Estate, and what we do is that we make your tires as good as new. They retread the old casings of tires. And not only is this cost effective in that it saves you money, but it is also environmentally friendly. And we show Dominica as an eco-tourist destination. How sad would it be for tourists to see old tires lying about in our societies, in our communities? It doesn't help with the image. So Detroit gets rid of those tires from our environment. They also have a vision. If they cannot retread the tires, they want to shred them and export the rubber out of Dominica. This is something to be commended and something everyone should support. So I would like to encourage everyone to come on down to Detroit and get your tires retreaded. You're not helping your pockets only, but you're also helping the environment and Dominica at large.
Okay. Each of the contestants has a platform, something that is dear to them. Francine, I'd like you to speak to your viewers about your platform and why it's important to you.
My platform is youth empowerment and development, reaching your highest achievement. This is a very dear topic to me because I would like everyone to know that regardless of whatever you face, whatever you have been through, you have the ability to reach your highest achievement. When God placed us on this earth, He placed us armed. Do not underestimate God. He gave you everything you need. It is up to you to grab the bull by its horn and go for what you want and bring glory and honor to His name. So once more, I'd like to encourage everyone to take that bold step forward and reach your highest achievements.
That was Francine Barron, the educator representing Grand Bay. Join her on the eve of February 28th, where I'm sure she'll leave you captivated. That's it for this edition of Journey to the Throne. I'm Pearl Fontaine. See you next time.